love doing is testing what's going on inside my body. So what I'm eating is going to affect all the time the way my blood changes, the way my pee is, and those are primarily the main ways you can test what you eat and how it affects your body. This is a super cool test. It's by Urinify, and it's a pee test, and it's a good thing because I have to go pee right now. And I'm actually gonna pee in a cup, and we're gonna test my urine. And this is something that I've been doing over the last few months to see if I can get better, particularly for me, vitamin C on my salt and electrolyte content, because those, as I tested initially a few months ago, were pretty low. Let's see if I've actually made any difference by changing my diet on my salt content, my electrolytes, and my vitamin C. This kit's pretty cool, and it's also fairly simple. There's a test strip, and you pee in this bottle and then test it, and it uses AI and some color coding that will show you to determine the amount of vitamin C, salt content, and a bunch of other electrolytes and a bunch of other vitamins, minerals, free radicals, protein, tons of stuff. So let's check it out. Come on. All right, back from the bathroom. I know that's gross, I'm sorry. I did not spill a drop though, so it's all good. And it's my pee, so it's not that gross for me, but apologize for you guys having to look at my pee. Okay, so this test is really simple. There's a strip. I'm gonna dip it in there a few seconds, and then it uses the phone and takes a picture, compares it to this little barcode color-coded here, and then it changes the color of the strip, and then you analyze it with your phone, and it gives you really good data. So this one, it has a little moisture pack in there. This one is the essentials, so it does a bunch of extra stuff. And you just use your phone, and it has the instructions. So you dip it into the pee. Sorry, gross. Dip it into the pee for a couple seconds. And then try not to get pee on the table. You lay it next to this bar, and then you start a timer, and it takes 60 seconds to absorb and then change color, and then you analyze it with the phone. And this is kind of where I like to think about this, as I have a tremendous amount of curiosity about what's going on in my body, how I can test it, how I can improve it, and is my diet manipulation of eating more salt, using more electrolyte tabs and supplements before and during workouts, is it actually making a difference? And so I think it's super cool to be able to test these things and try products, but at the end of the day, I want to know the actual result. I want to be able to see it, and I want to be able to know, did my curiosity over here actually result in a change? And I think that's the cool thing about the time we live in, where you can test those things. You can buy these little kits, and there's tons of other DNA tests and ketone tests and some other things that we'll do if you continue to watch this video series. And part of why I have dove into this so much is it's a natural curiosity. And so it's super fun for me to do this, and hopefully be able to give some benefit to you guys that maybe are curious about experimenting and finding out, did your diet manipulation actually result in a change? All right, so it's 60 seconds, it's ready to scan, and I just hit ready to scan on the phone, and then you match up the bars with the bars on there, and it takes a photo for you, and now it's uploading. And the results are pretty quick. It verifies that you got it in screen, And, oh, this is actually pretty cool. So one of the interesting things on this particular test is it says that I'm slightly dehydrated. And that's kind of funny because I ran this morning, got in the pool and swam afterwards. And I knew that I was gonna have to pee, and I purposefully have not been drinking anything since then, so that I didn't have to pee worse. So it gives kidney function, liver function, all those are normal. Ketone bodies are balanced, pH is balanced, inflammation is normal. It does a urinary tract infection assessment and says that there's no risk. My protein is normal. Interesting, it says my calcium is suboptimal for the moment. And my calcium has kind of floated between, when I've done these tests, balanced, high, and suboptimal. I'll have to learn more about that. Honestly, don't know. And that's one of the other things that I'm committed to is it's okay if I don't know some of the solutions and some of these things. I think that's where the danger is when you get into new stuff, is pretending like you know all the answers. And that's where some of these like influencer nutrition people get in trouble, because they just guess on the answer or the solution instead of having curiosity. So it says my calcium is suboptimal. So my vitamin C is really good. And like on this little graph here, that's something I've been working on. So it slowly climbed. Like my vitamin C, as I've supplemented, has slowly climbed as I've tested. And so I still have a lower salt and lower electrolyte values than are optimal. So there's definitely probably some higher sodium levels that I could put into my diet. And the crazy thing is I've already increased them fairly considerably. But I've been reading a lot about salt and electrolytes. It's very different for different people. And the average is, I think, 300 to 600 milligrams per hour of exercise is how much replacement you need. So I exercise a ton as an active person, and according to this test, I'm not getting the salt and electrolytes that I need. So that's good to know, because I've already increased it, and now I can slowly increase it more and test it again. So zinc's normal, magnesium's normal, and free radicals were normal. And yeah, I just love learning about these tests. If you guys know of a similar test, I'd love to try another one on the hydration level and on the salt level and electrolyte level, and maybe take two tests at once and compare the two. So if you're curious about your electrolyte and salt levels, one thing you can do is just try taking them before you exercise, and maybe even during, like if you have over an hour exercise session, and you can see how you feel. And if you feel like there is a positive change, that's great. There is some consideration of, if you're not exercising, sodium and salt can be a bad thing because of some liver issues, and I'm not quite sure if the blood pressure correlation has totally been debunked, but I know there's some discrepancy there as to whether salt actually affects your blood pressure or not. But my suggestion is be curious and don't make a decision about whether something works or not until you test it. And you could use a test like this or find another one to find out. And you can always get tests at your doctor or your medical profession, medical provider, but that's going to cost probably way more than Urinify. I think these were like $35 or $70 or something like that, in that range. So good luck, and be curious.